Battle of Innsmouth. So as I promised, I'm just gonna run through the game, and it's gonna be a bit longer video, but we're gonna start with the making units. Alright, so first thing first, I have a calculator here, and we have 13 points to spend on making these little regiments. So what I will do first, I'm gonna make some army regiments, and I'm gonna make some police regiments, and I'm gonna place them in one of these staging areas. Now you are not, you, there is no rule that you have to actually fill both the staging area. If you wanna just go from up and maybe down and not even use this staging area, you certainly can do that. But since there is a lot of ground that you need to cover and you need to move fast, it is actually, I recommend that you use both staging areas, so one forces at the top and one forces on the bottom. So, and by the way, all the army units can go here, but not the police units, while here you can have police and army units, as long as you don't mix in them. So what you're gonna do is, I'm gonna buy units and then I'm gonna make stacks. So let's do that. So for instance, I definitely need some artillery, so that's the first thing I'm gonna take. So that's gonna cost me, as you know, veteran units, and this is veteran units, cost 2 points, but any special ability they have, that's additional points. This is just 3 points, minus 3. And I'm gonna buy both of them. It's gonna be minus another 3. And we'll see how I'm gonna do with that. Also, I'm gonna take this hero leader, so another minus 3 points. And I'm gonna take these marines. I'm gonna take 2 of them. They are veteran units, so they cost 2, so it's gonna be minus 4. So already I only have 17 points. So let's do some police, and then I'm gonna go back to the army. So with the police, I'm gonna take this also hero guy. It's gonna be minus 3. And I'm gonna take Boston police, at least 3 of them, so they all cost only 1 point, so that's minus 3. And I'm gonna also take some local militia, so that's only also 1 point. I have 8 points left, so I'm gonna take some federal agents, so that's minus 2, and 6 points left. Here I'm gonna take rifle squads. They only 1 point, so I'm gonna take 2 of them. It's gonna be minus 2. And I'm thinking to maybe take 1 machine gun squad, but they cost 2 points, 1 for the conscript and 1 for the thing they provide. Actually, I might take 2 of them, so let's go minus actually let's take only 1, minus 2. So I have only 2 points left. I'm thinking maybe another federal agents. Or should I take more of these rifle squads? These are limited, by the way. I can take an armored car, maybe. It also costs 2 points. But I think I'm gonna go with the federal agents. So minus 2, and that's all my points. Alright, and now we're gonna form some regiments using these. So I'm gonna have a hero leading some federal agents, some Boston police, and some local militia. So I'm gonna be stack of 3. And when you're stacking these units, you have to think about their strengths. So how the damage is spread through the unit when they take in casualties is from top to bottom. But in the case of the federal agents here, strength 5 means they take a casualty if I roll 5 or 6 on a die. If I have a 2 dice and I roll like casualties for both units, so they go down. So for instance, federal agent is going to take casualties, and whoever is below them, if I'm rolling 2 dice and I roll casualties on both of them. So whatever is on the bottom is always safe. Now you can make your highest unit like on the bottom if you want, because these guys in front can be a cannon fodder, but usually you don't want to do that unless you're gonna regroup later on. You'll see how that works. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the local militia in the middle. I'm gonna keep Boston police on the bottom, local militia in the middle, and federal agents on top. And then I'm gonna add a hero. He's not considered to be a unit per se, so you can have a stack like this with a hero ball. But these stacks with the units, we only can have 3 of them. That's the maximum. So that will be one, a little regiment, and another one will be federal agents and Boston police, and another Boston police without the leader. Actually, yeah, let's do it like that. So these two will go down here. As for the military, I'm thinking to have artillery on top and bottom, so if I take these positions I can use the artillery. You see these positions with the triangles. If you have artillery here, then artillery can shoot on these positions that have these triangles, so they need to be there. If you move them from there, then they are useless. Basically, this is the only spot on a high ground where they can be used. They can still fight in close combat, but they are really ineffective. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get Marines, some rifle squad, and MG squad. That's gonna be like this, with the hero on top. That's gonna be my main force, and I'm gonna place it here. And then I'm gonna put rifle squad and artillery here, down. And one Marines and artillery is gonna be top. So my plan is to capture this position here and capture this position here with the artillery, and then with the help of artillery I can shoot all these locations, basically do damage at a distance without getting it in my other forces endangered in actually fight. I mean, they need to step inside and fight, but the more damage I do to the spots, and you can do it prior you're attacking, it's better for me. Alright, so that's it. That's my forces. As you can see, you don't get much, and this is all limited, so later on, as you can see, I only can buy from this pool here. Alright, so we are set to go. Now, some basic rules about fighting before I actually start. So we have a chart here. You can see casualty calculator. The moment I oh, by the way, actions you can do with these units. Actions are attacking, which is basically moving your units, and by the way, these are also the paths, these white ones. Moving your unit together like a stack toward the location. So you basically place them on the path. So for instance, let's say I was here, and if I want to attack this spot, I would actually just place the unit on the path to announce that I'm attacking. Because any move that you do toward the space with the enemy units, you're basically attacking. That costs 1 action point, which we get from these cards. You'll see how that works. Everything costs basically 1 action point. Another thing you can do an action with your units, you can regroup and move. So regroup means you can do something like this. If they are standing on the same location, maybe I want to exchange these two or something like that, or maybe even do stack in different order if I want to. So that is called the regroup. And then after that I have a free move, but I can only move toward the location that is under my control or clear of the enemies. So you can't regroup and attack, you can only regroup and move. So that's one thing, but it should be used when you wanna get your units close to the place where you're gonna attack later on. And the last action you can do, you can rally. So rallying means if you have any units that are have a broken or panic token on them, and they look like these, you can remove the token from them. And also, if you have multiple units that are with those tokens, and if they standing on the same position, you can actually use just one action points to rally all of them, but they need to share the location, and then you can also stack them. So that's the action all in the games that you can do with these action points. When the combat ensues, you're gonna count how many units you have in the stack. You're gonna go here to this chart. So if I have advancement, like if I have 3 units and the enemy have only 1, you can see that I roll 1 die for my casualties, he rolls 2, and when you roll these dice, we have these dice in different colors, so I will use green for the enemy, white for us. Let's say we roll only 1 die, you check what's on the top, so your topmost unit, and that unit is gonna take the casualty from a die. But if I have to roll 2 dice, then the 1 die is gonna be applied to the top unit and the other one to the bottom. So how it works, if I roll a 5 or 6, this will take damage, and then I check other dice and so on beneath. You'll see how that works immediately when I start playing, because we're gonna get in fight really soon. Alright, so how the turn goes, at the beginning of each turn we're gonna draw 1 card from this event deck. We're gonna read the event. This one doesn't have any, it's just the first card we always play. It's called Liberate Innsmouth. It says your objective are to find 3 artifacts, save as many civilians you can, and capture at least 4 cultist strongholds. And as I said before, these little star locations are cultist strongholds. Now there are also locations with these flags. These are the location where the enemy will retreat. So enemy from that specific district. So any enemy in the south of the district that are taking casualties and they need to retreat, they will always go to this spot. And there is an important rule that you can't have more than 2 stacks on one location. So if they need to retreat to the location where you already have 2 stacks, that unit is going to be destroyed, because they were basically destroyed while they were retreating. They didn't manage to pull out. Right, we'll see how that works. And each of these districts have one of these flags. So if you capture that spot and then attack other spots, if they have to retreat and they can't, they immediately get destroyed. But so these are the spots you probably want to take as quickly as possible to cut them off from retreating. And there is one for here. In this case it is a new church green, and so on, so on and so on. So these are some things that you need also to consider. Another thing is you need to watch out when you're using your artillery because of the civilians. Now you can see on this spot there are some civilians, and if I use artillery, the damage dealt will be dealt to the units there, enemy units, but also will be dealt to the civilians. And if the damage is equal or higher than the number of civilians, they will be killed. So that's the thing you need to be aware, but you'll see how that works. Alright, so as you can see on the bottom of this card, there are 2 action points for the US Army and 2 action points for the police. You use these action points to use your troops. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually send my federal agents to attack this spot. And when you do that, you flip this little token, and lucky me, no one is actually here. So we're gonna discard that, and I just capture this location. My second point, I will use one of the army. I will move the army here, and now I have artillery here. So if I want, I have another point I can immediately shoot right now, but I'm not gonna do that. Actually, the second point for artillery I'm gonna use to I guess I'm gonna move these guys. They will attack. So we flip this. Oh, we have some veteran units here. Alright, so how we do right now, we take this little token, go to this chart, and we roll 1 die. Okay, it's a 1, good for me because lower number is actually better. And you can see that there is only just 2 units of hybrid militia, and you stack them from left to right. So whatever is on the left will be on top, whatever is on the right will be on bottom. So basically I just take these 2, stack them on one or another, And now we're gonna roll to see how much damage and casualties we'll take. As you can see, I have a stack of 3 against a stack of 2. You can see here that we only roll 1 die for casualties for each. And one important thing is, if you roll a natural 1 or enemy rolls a natural 1, that will also cause destruction of the leader of the unit. So that's how the leader can actually die. Alright, so let's roll and let's apply the casualties. So you can see that I roll a 3 for the enemies, and this is done simultaneously. So they have a strength of 3, so equal or above, that's a casualty for them. So when they do that, you flip them, they go step down. Now you notice that this enemy has a little like exclamation mark icon. This means they will retreat immediately. They took so many casualties, they will retreat. And you can already see where they can retreat. They will retreat here. After they retreat, you're gonna roll 1 die to see will they be broken, because unit that retreats will be broken. So we can reroll the same die. If I roll 1, 2 or 3, we're gonna apply the broken to them, but they are not. They're just retreating there. Now let's check my casualties. I roll a 2, and the unit that is above has a 5, so I roll less than 5, so I didn't took any casualties. But I didn't capture this spot because there are still enemy units here, so I return back. So we basically attacked them, they took some damage, but we didn't manage to capture the spot. And I still have 1 more point for the police. So what I think I'm gonna do, I think I'm just gonna push forward with these units here, and because everything in here will be flipped, so I will also can see how many civilians are there. So I'm gonna use the same units. I'm gonna attack here, and let's flip this. So we have some conscripts and we have 3 civilians there. Okay, so conscripts, we're gonna roll on this chart here. That's a 4, and you can see the 4 is hybrid militia, and some hybrid mob. So still not something that we need to be afraid of, but there are many of them here, and the railroad station, and some civilians. Alright, so as you can see, that's a stack of 3 against stack of 3, and that's 2 casualty dice for me and 2 casualty dice for them. So let's roll those dice. Let's resolve the fight. So I got a 2 and a 3, and I have a 5 on top, so I don't take any casualties. And actually, let me check. No, it's a 4 beneath. And I have a 2 and a 1. So if you check here, they're both 3, so they don't take any casualties either. And I just return back. But at least we uncovered how much civilians is there. Alright, and that's basically the turn. Once you use your action points, you move this timer tracker forward 1 space, you flip the second card and continue playing. So let's do that. Let's do another round. We have some cult reinforcements. So first of all, important thing in the red, it says Church Green and Town Center. So these are 2 districts that's gonna get reinforcements. And it says increase the strength of all revealed enemy units by 1 step. But as you can see here, we don't have any revealed enemy units, neither in Church Green nor in the Town Center, including the ones with broken status. And then says then rally all broken enemy units. No, not there, so nothing will happen basically. And now we have 2 more points for the army, 2 more points for the police, and 1 wild point that can be used either by the army, by the police, or this wild also can be used by investigators. And this is the only way you can actually activate your investigator. And I'm gonna do actually that. Why? Because there are some civilians here, as you can see. And let's talk about investigator and their special abilities a bit. So what the investigators can do, you can use an action point to send them to save the civilians, so they can just yank them from here and place them instead. so they can lead the civilians out. They can remove explosives from the bridges. They can flip these tokens to see is there artifact there or not, but they can't pick them up. You actually have to get there with your force and destroy everything. And what else they can do? I think that's that. Yeah, that's all the special abilities. Oh yeah, they can also flip these tokens, and so you can see what kind of forces will be there. You can immediately roll on the chart and place the forces, so they can like do reconnaissance for you. Alright, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this 1 points to save the civilians from here. But every time you use these investigators, and first of all you need to see which one you can use. So you can see that these civilians are in the outskirts district, and in the outskirts we have the worst of them. This old professor, he's not really good with the rescuing people. He has a -2 to the dice roll we're gonna do on this little danger track. So how this danger track works, you're gonna roll 2 dice, and if I roll 1 or 3, he will be killed. I would lose this action points, I will not save anyone, and he will be removed. You get the scald from a game. And by the way, if all investigators by some chance are killed, you lose the game. And you also get less points at the end of the game if most of them are dead. So here's a question. I have a -2 to, but I think I'm gonna risk it because I wanna save these civilians. The 3 is a big number. They go up to 4, but 3 is also good. If I manage to save them, I can use my artillery from here and just soften this target up and move in and just finish the job. So let's do that. So I have a -2 to this roll. I roll an 8 with a -2, that's a 6. That's still good. So what happens now, because I didn't roll this goes forward. So later on it's going to be harder for other investigators to do similar thing. And these civilians are saved. He managed to get there and save some civilians. So that's 1 wild points I use for the investigators. Then I'm going to use 2 points of the police. Well, actually, let's use 1 point of the army and activate this artillery and special abilities so you can see how that works. So I'm going to activate it once, so it's going to basically shoot once. I'm going to shoot here. What you do, you shuffle these tokens here and place it here. Now, if these forces were face down, you place the token face down, and then when you enter the space, you flip the token and see how much damage. But since they are already revealed, I can immediately flip this. Oh, that's 3 casualties. Now you apply these casualties to everything in the stack. So 1 casualty is for the guy on top, 1 casualty is from the middle, and 1 casualty on the bottom, because we actually have 3 units in this stack. So he will flip, and as you can see, the only way he can retreat, so he will stay there basically, he can't retreat anymore. But I need to check, will he be broken also? No. This beneath guy will also flip. Let's see, will he get broken? Oh yeah, he will get broken. So when that happens, they will actually out of the stack. They need to be rallied to get back into the unit. Basically they, let me copy this, they are completely ineffective right now, and I'm going to explain how the broken works just right now. And lastly, these guys, we flip them and they're actually destroyed. So that's a good hit for the artillery, and whatever you kill, you just bring back here to these stacks. Alright, so good thing is this is split, and you just take this, shuffle it back into the deck. So the broken units are now, they can't fight. So if I manage to kill these guys and take this spot, they're also going to be destroyed because they completely can't fight. You still roll casualties when entering the spot because they can shoot back, but then they completely destroyed. You always, when you get into the location and with the broken units, they always get destroyed. So basically I just need to step in there and clean this up. Of course I need to kill these guys too, but we'll see. Alright, so that was 1 for the army, and now I have 2 points for the police. I'm just gonna do what I plan to do. I'm gonna move in with these federal agents, and we have some Boston police here. And let's see, so that's a 3, and now we don't count this guy because he's considered completely ineffective. I only count one guy here. So that's 3 against 1, and you can see I rolled 2 for the casualties and 1 for mine. So let's do it like this. Okay, I don't take any casualties, and they get a 4 and 2. 4 will be applied. There's only one unit here, and they don't have a step 1. You can actually see they are destroyed, and with them these broken guys are also destroyed. And I managed to take the railroad station. And now if I attack other spots and they need to, actually these ones, if they need to retreat, they will be destroyed immediately because they can't retreat there anymore, which is good. That was my plan all the way. Alright, so I still have 1 point for the army, so I think I need to take this with the artillery. So I can send these guys and attack here. There is only one hybrid militia there, so that's a 2 against 1. You roll 1 dice each. Oh yeah, it's actually not fine. I totally forgot one really important rule here. When I attacked over the red open line, this is an open space. I roll a 2, I think. No, I rolled the 1. I rolled the 1 for my casualties. So what you do, you get +1 to your casualties, so that would actually go to 2, but it's still lower than 5, so I'm fine. I didn't take any casualties. So with these open spots you have a +1 to your casualty rolls, and I need to remember that, but only over the red lines. The white ones are like the blue ones. You're not exposed. Alright, so 2 against 1, that's 1 die each, so let's roll. Oof, so Marine is gonna take casualty, and these hybrid militia is gonna take casualties. They're gonna retreat, and now we're checking, are they gonna get broken? No, because they are not broken, they are immediately gonna stack onto each other. And when you're stacking these units that are retreating, you always take the highest numbers on top. Alright, but I captured the Southwick Hill. And let's go forward. And let's do one more turn, and I'm gonna cut the video short because I don't want to take it just too long. You can already see how the game works. Oh, we have a sniper casualty. Kill 1 random army leader. Well, I only have 1, so my hero is killed, and whatever is killed goes out of the game. Well, that was a bad thing to happen right now, but what can I do? Some snipers from Southwick just took a shot and that's it. Alright, for that I only have 1 point with the army, but 3 points with the police. I think I'm gonna use my army point right away. I'm gonna use these Marines, and I'm gonna also attack here. So let's flip this. Oops, not all of this. So there's some conscripts there. That's a 5. Okay, so we're gonna have some cult followers and hybrid militia. So this guy is a bit tougher. And we're gonna have a fight here. Alright, so that's a stack 3 against 3. And by the way, what the hero was doing, hero special ability, I didn't explain that. So hero special abilities will, units in the stack with the hero will not retreat and can't be broken or panicked. So that's, heroes are pretty good with the units. So they, even if they step to retreat, they will not. That's the same thing with the fanatics, but the fanatic works a bit different. So as you can see, the cultist also can have a leader. So if they have a leader with the fanatic ability, they will not retreat, they will not be broken. And also, if you have to apply more than 2 casualties, they will only apply 2 with the fanatics. So if I need to do 3 casualties, they will not take it, all 3 of them. Which is good with the artillery, but they need to be on the front. Alright, so let's resolve this. So that's a 3 against 3, that's 2 dice for me and 2 dice for the enemy. Alright, so I got a 6 and a 4, and if you look here, I can apply 6 here, so this will go step down, and this guy is also gonna go step down. But I have a machine gun here, and you'll see how the machine gun works. So machine gun will add +1 to the roll for the casualties of the enemy. So this will go to 2 and this will go to 5. So if we apply this, we can apply a 5 immediately. So this will flip and they will retreat here. But because of the rule that you can't have if they will actually stack, well, depending, maybe if they get broken they will not. So let me just roll for the broken quickly. They will not. So if they are not broken, they will stack with these units, and I can just put them on top because they are all the same number. If they were broken and they need to be set aside because of the rule that you can only have 2 stacks, and this is also a stack, we just don't know which one, they will be immediately destroyed. Alright, now I also have a casualty of 2, but these are the 3, so it doesn't apply. So we took 2 casualties, they only took 1, and now we have a stack of 3 here of units that actually can do something. Well, they are really hurt, but they can still provide some fight. And now 3 for the police. I think I'm gonna step in here. Actually, I think I'm gonna step in here, then I'm gonna move here. I'm gonna basically move twice, and my third action will be I will actually attack with these heroes here. So we're gonna flip everything there. Ooh, 4 civilians here, and some I knew there is veteran forces there, because at the beginning of the setup you always put the veteran forces on these spots with the stars, because these are the cultist strongholds. So I'm just gonna do basically probe attack. I wanna see, I mean, these are good forces here, maybe I can even manage to clear them out, we'll see. Okay, let's check the veteran. Ooh, that's number 5. So that's cultist. They have, as you can see, they have Tommy guns, cult followers, cultist MG, and of course cult leaders. So this will be a tough spot to beat, but let's place them in order. So cultist, cult followers, MG on the bottom, and they also with the cult leader that provide them fanatic. So this will be not easy. This fire station will not be easy to capture. Alright, but that's a 3 against 3, and I do attack over the ground that is not like open, so I don't have a +2 casualties, but they have a machine gun, so I do have a, basically I will have +1 to my casualty rolls because of the machine gun. What do I have here? Oh no, these units are not that awesome, but they, at least they will not retreat. And by the way, when you're retreating, you can choose the spot with the closest friendly unit. So for instance, when I'm attacking from this location and I have to retreat from it, I have to go here. But if I have some units here, then I can choose where I want to retreat. Right now this is my only spot where I can retreat from this fight. Alright, so that's a 3 against 3, that's 2 casualties for each of us. So let's see, I have a 5 and a 3, so you always apply the bigger number first, of course, if you can. Let's see, yeah, so federal agents gonna go down one step, and underneath there's a local militia, so they will also take casualties. And actually this is a 6 and a 4, don't forget the machine gun, and they will also flip. Now because I have a hero unit, these local militia will stay in the stack, they will not retreat, and they can't be broken or panicked, so that's a good thing. Now let's apply casualties to them. Sadly I didn't roll any ones, although MG would basically put that to 2. So it's not easy to kill the cultist leader if there is MG, you know, holding us back. Anyway, I have a 5, so I will apply 5 to the top, so he will flip to 3, and on the bottom I have a 4, so he will also flip. Normally he would now run away, but the scout leader just keeps them in line, so they stay. So I didn't manage to capture that, and I took some casualties. Alright, and that was that. So I'm gonna stop the video here. We're gonna continue in the next videos, but you can already see how the game goes. It's quite quick, it's not complicated. You just need to keep some basic rules on mind with which one is probably gonna be maybe tough for some, but the rule where you can only have 2 stacks on one location, you need to keep track on that, because lots of these units will try to, you know, retreat somewhere they can't, and then you need to think about that rule, and they need to be destroyed. As you can see, I have a tough time already. I probably want to continue on this line. And by the way, each additional location I managed to clear from the cultists is victory points for me. So if I just go for these civilians, I mean, that are my objective, but if I don't reach my quota of victory points, which we'll see in the end, I also can lose the game. So you can't just rush past through all other locations without doing much. So probably I will have to use some units to clear the districts, because as you can see, some districts has lots of these spots that needs to be cleared. The more districts you completely clear, the better, because they only give you victory points if they are completely cleared. So outskirts, because only have 3 spots and I'm already holding one, you probably want to clear that at the beginning and the south, because you can see they have a 1 more. But later on it gets tougher, because it's not easy to clear like a spot with all 5s and you don't have much time, so you'll see. Alright, well, so far I saved 3 civilians and I took 3 locations, and I took some beating, but I'm sure these federal forces can actually do some damage here. Don't forget, I do have artillery here and I can actually shoot this spot with artillery. I just need more action points with the military to do that. So see you in the next video, and thanks for watching. This is the fall of Innsmouth. Bye.